all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Round number 2 of our Orion Shopfitters Euro Tour. And live on the camera this evening, we've got Tyler Humphreys joining me in the commentary box. Tyler, good evening. How are you doing?
How's it? I'm doing
yes,
great.
You gave me a fright there, man. You're talking. I couldn't hear the sound. What's happening?
No. Yeah, how's it, everyone? Camera, me, hello. Yes, I'm excited. Hungary, of course. So this is going to be pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Guys, already off the bat here, we're seeing Ruan Heineke. He's got the first dibs here this evening and say, let's go coconuts. Jeez, in our LNR stream I did last night, I dropped a little F-bomb there. Sorry, guys, I did not mean to do that. Nevertheless, we've got Lala saying, hi, Ruan, can't wait to hear your Ferrari. Avia saying, hola, gents, enjoy the racing. Peter Heidemann, all the way from the UK, he's saying he's here. And how's it there from Adrian? Guys, we are currently at the point where there is 2 minutes left of the practice. We've did have some limitations on the tires, so only 2 sets of tires have for the 15-minute practice as well as that 15-minute qualifier. It is a super flying lap, so the guys have not really been going out, and I think that's definitely going to change the dynamics just a little bit there, Tyler.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody's going to be a little bit more nervous going on to the flying laps, because if you do spin, you have pretty much ruined a set of tires. And of course the nerves, it's a one lap quali. That's it pretty much.
So we do have a little video which is essentially a track guide, and this is Tyler yourself having a go around this. I reckon yes. Let's get it up, and I suppose I'll talk us through this lap.
Yeah, you're gonna have to now.
So here we come out of the last corner, heading towards turn number 1. Tyler in the Lamborghini Evo is setting himself up for that 100-meter board there on the brakes. Very tight on the inside, using the curb. A little bit too much throttle there, but a little kick of the rear. So you want to try and avoid that, but now staying as far to the right as possible. And just as you get that curb, start braking down, trail braking onto the inside, hugging this inside corner here. Turn number 2, then it should be a flat out through here, just touch the inside curb. And as you set up for the outside, just be careful, the track limits here will definitely cost you. In terms of the braking point at the beginning of the curve, get the car nice and high on the inside curve through the little kink, then tight on the inside here. Just be patient, let that car relax, and as it settles, just accelerate all the way out. But now you're going to set yourself up for the little chicane. Lots of inside curve here in the first phase as well as the second. Be careful of the little red bump on the inside. Little gear down here through the turns number 7, now and 8. Opening up the wheel, keeping it nice and straight. This is flat out through here. Then a little gear down, get that nose in. Run the curb on the inside, run the curb on the outside. Don't go too wide. And as you come to this right-hander, you want to take a lot of the inside curb now. Careful on the exit there. You can see that the corner does tighten up a little bit. Then down into a first gear, let the car rotate. Be patient on the exit because it is a full 180 degrees. Then again, now into this last corner. Ride the curb now, accelerate now as you go past that little red tag, all the way out to the outside and across the line. I hope I did your lap justice there.
I'm pretty sure you did. I couldn't see, but it sounded right. So I'm guessing you did pretty well.
Alright guys, I'm hearing in the background we do have some of the guys going out onto track. So we are able to cut across there. Tyler, I realized that I haven't shared what I'm seeing with you, which explains why you didn't see my lap. Well, there you go.
Yes.
So guys,
Thank
we
you.
are watching those comments keep coming in. Tyler, switch on the light. We want to see you better. Ooh, that's from Lala.
Okay.
Lala will definitely get him ready for next week. Let's have a look to see who is currently out on track. Sorry, I haven't pushed all the right buttons here. This is needed to be pushed, so we are now good to go. And then I realized that I had a little trick we could do, and that is get
Dylan, could you please refresh my mind on how you use the broadcasting buttons? I have forgotten.
I can't tell you offhand because I have evolved just a little bit as Gary takes a lot of the curb there. Gary going into turn number 4, and we've that's a corner that he's going to need to be quite careful of. Quite a few drivers are out, but Tyler, if you're in the main screen and you push F2, you'll see that you'll be able to scroll down to.
I have it. Thank you very much, Dylan.
No worries. Just a message here from Stephen Smith saying can't wait to join. And Stephen Smith, actually one of our SARCO console guys, sent me a little picture of a little PC that's set up in his room. So we're hoping to see Stephen Smith joining us. And Tyler, Stephen is the person that would commentate with me on a Monday. So the two of you have something in common.
Lekker. Stephen, get that sim sorted. I'd love to see you on track.
A comment here from Peter Heidemann as well. He's saying that's the fastest car number, Tyler, is 777. Because
I picked that number before I knew that fact. Surprisingly
well,
enough.
that's the number that Peter Heidemann would use, and Adrian saying that was a solid lap, Tyler. So good job there.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so we've got laps up. So current Dwayne van Schalkwyk is currently the quickest. Raphael here, he's now gone past and put up a lap time. Mr. Paul Fencer, we didn't see him in driver's briefing, but it is good to see him here this evening. We've also got Mr. Wayne Bond, part of Orion Shopfitters. So he is now out on his flying lap. Or was that... it looks like that was his lap. So that's put him in second place. Okay, we're just trying to just gather who's out on the lap. But maybe what I need to do is just fix the other... That's not the right one.
So I have been...
That's what I'm looking for. There we go. What were you saying there?
Chris Heineck is coming around for a lap now. Currently P17 starting his flying lap. And
So there's Chris Haneke in the new Bulldog colours. Nice to see the new livery coming around there. And just behind him in that 132 is Tyler Scott. He's also now gone and just updated his livery just a little bit, getting himself away from the standard livery. Thomas Pistorius, he's currently out as well. Ruin saying, watch number 69. That's Ruin telling people to watch him. That's weird. Stephen Smith saying, yes, he will be there. He's just busy doing loading time and game, whatever. And then Daniel War Machine Morales. It's been a while since you won first dibs here, Mr. Morales. You're going to need to come and work on that. He's been working on driving on my spare time. Hopefully one day he'll be confident to join us as a US ambassador.
Marcus Stain coming around the final corner. P9, this will be his time. Where does it put him? P1 for Marcus Stain, our current championship leader after round 1.
And Marcus currently in the Bulldog colors as well, himself and Chris Haneke. So we see, there's a lap time there done for Fleming Bauer, currently in a 4th place. Lenieri, he still needs to get in that lap time, but he is currently out, as well as Neil Greening. Where is he? There he is.
Marcus Stain and Chris Haneke 1-2. The teammates at the front row as of now.
Another person out is Robert Stoltz, getting some heat into those tires. Neil Greening currently on track, so he hasn't done that one lap just yet. Some comments coming through. Avia saying Bulldog car looks amazing, and unfortunately, Daniel, there are no Ford GT3s, unfortunately. Message coming through here for you, Tyler, saying hello boy, hello Ruan.
Hello mother.
Comes to think about it,
next across the line is Robert Stoltz. Starting his flying lap now.
Someone else who hasn't been around on a SARCO league for a while is Mr. Jacques Vermeulen, driving in the Porsche with Paul Fenter. But it's good to see Jacques coming back, and Jacques in his day with the console, he had this thing about the Bentleys.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I love the Bentley. I've never driven it, but I love the car. It looks nice, it looks like it handles nicely. So, I don't know, I also have a soft spot for the Bentley, but I've never driven it.
So where I fell in love with it was actually being at the 9 hour of Kalami, the first one that came. There was just that distinctive sound of that Bentley, the rumble. That for me was something absolutely special.
Rohan went to the first one as well, and he sent me some of those videos, and I can agree that Bentley sounds very, very nice.
So I must say this lap from Jacques is looking pretty tidy. Tyler Scott getting himself get himself in 7th place, so just behind Agamemnon Varonis from Greece.
Rohan starting his lap now as well, car number 69, as well as car number 39.
So as he crosses the line, where does that put him? Or was that his out lap?
Yeah, he's starting lap now.
It looked like he went out and absolutely charged there.
I think he's just trying to get those tires up to temperature, as it is a one lap quali. So you really got to push the tires in to get them up to temperature for one lap.
So there, Robert Stoltz, 10th place there for him. Neil Greening, so he has done a lap. So Neil goes up into 3rd position.
Nice lap, Neil. Okay, so next across the line is Michael Struvic starting his lap, and then is Charles Wilken starting his lap. Next person to set the time will be Ron Heineke. He's about halfway through the lap now, going through the middle sector. Car number 69.
So it's interesting to see that Michael, for the season, has gone away from the McLaren and chosen to go in the Lambo. And I must say, he had quite a nice little battle between himself and Flip van Zyl at Valencia. And it does look like Michael really has settled nicely with this car.
I mean, I did the same. Moved from the McLaren, tried the Honda a little bit, and now I'm permanently with the Lambo.
So Ruan Heineke coming into the last corner, turn number 14, currently on a flying lap. So he crosses line, puts himself in 7th place. Wilfred crosses the line, so he is now on his flying lap, followed by Jacques Vermeulen. We saw him earlier, glomming those tyres. Where does that put him? Up into 5th, so just ahead of his teammate Paul Fenter.
Next across the line, Michael Struwik for nothing but Apex.
The other person I haven't seen yet, and there is a Flip van Zyl in the updated Quattro livery. That silver and orange looks absolutely fantastic. Then
I go there.
Charles Wilken currently out on his lap as well in the Lambo. We'll just jump back to Michael Struwik as he comes through turn number 14. So Michael puts him 11th.
Next, Flip van Zyl.
So now currently on his lap. Thank you very much, Gareth. Gareth approving of this, and I did miss it earlier, but I do see that it is still here on the feed. Gerard Fostley, thank you very much. I did see your like there.
Here comes Charles Wilken
yesterday as well.
P1 for Charles Wilken.
So what I'm not understanding is why the positions are cut off the way they are. I think it might have something to do with the way that is. So the last man on track, or sorry, not the last man, because Robson is still on track there as well. And so Robson goes in 9th place. So it's cutting off, you'll see the pole position as well as 2nd place. We'll figure it out as we go into the start of the race. We'll make sure that is, you can see it's just cut off the top there.
Yeah.
So we will sort that out.
Around the final corner. Hug that inside line. Wait. Go. Straighten out the wheel. Dart to the finish line. And where does this lap put him? P5.
So there we go. That is the top the qualifying now done and dusted. Charles Wilken out on top, followed by Marcus Stay, and then Chris Heineke in 3rd. Neil Greening in 4th. Flip van Zyl 5th. Dwayne van Schalkwyk, newcomer to the series. We just missed him in driver's briefing for his welcome. 7th is Jacques Vermeulen. 8th, Paul Fenter. Fleming Bauer in 9th. Wolford Robson 10th. 11th, Ruan Heineke. Wayne Bond 12th. Memo Veronis in 13th. Michael Struwik 14th. Tyler Scott 15th. Adrian Bond 16th. Robert Stoltz 17th. Len Neary 18th. Raphael Tav in 19th place. Then it is Terry Wolford in 21st and Thomas Prestorius in 22nd place. And I think the reason that was cut off is I had my mouse had clicked on somebody further down.
Oh. So it is a Porsche and Ferrari top 10, except for Charles Wilkin in the Lambo, P1. I think he took some pointers from my lap.
Well, we all saw that it was a fantastic lap. And that will give us a quick rundown of the manufacturers that are out there. But yes, Lambo out in front, the 2 Porsches, 2 Ferraris, 3 Porsches, 3 Ferraris. So what should have come next was 4 Porsches and 4 Ferraris. But it was Wayne Bond in the BMW, then 2 Lamborghinis, Memo and Michael, then a Tyler. And that is Tyler Scott, not Tyler Humphreys.
Insert Spider-Man meme.
Fantastic. Then Len Neary in the Ferrari. Then further down, Raphael in the Lambo. The only Aston is there from Gary van der Haar. Then Terry in the Merc. He too is the only one in the Merc. And then Thomas Pistorius in the BMW. So it is a short formation lap. We got rid of the forced manual lap, and let's just hope that the guys are able to give us a nice clean race. We saw they were able to do that at Valencia. And realize I can put my 1 lap mandatory time on, which is now there. And the guys were briefed to please just be cautious for the first couple of corners. You're expecting to be 2 wide, 3 wide at some places. So that is green light, and it is go, go, go. And you can just see the 2 Porsches getting a great start off the line. And that is 4 wide.
Back wide. Background. Wow. A little bit of contact between the Porsche and the Ferrari. But everybody seems to be getting away nice and cleanly.
And that's what we want to see. But now it is Heineke and Wilkin just slipping up on the inside. And that was a major dive bomb there. Lots of contact coming up. It looked like that was Dwayne from Skullfake.
I think he completely missed his braking point there. That looked like he was not looking for it and just maybe watching behind him in his mirrors. But out in front, we got Chris Heineke taking the spot from Charles Wilkin.
So we can just go back there. You can see that is unfortunately Dwayne just losing all looks like all consciousness, and unfortunately just collecting some of the drivers as he went through there.
Indeed. That has promoted Flip van Zyl up to 3rd in the Ferrari. He started 5th, of course. And Dwayne is in the pits. I think that is damage related. Hopefully not rage quitting.
So Chris Heineke is ahead, 0.5 of a second ahead of Scholl. And the battles are already ensuing further down. And Neil Greening followed by Paul, followed by Jacques. And you're right, but it is actually Flip van Zyl who's got himself up into 3rd position. So he's really made it work. Ooh, very wide there from Jacques Vermeulen. And lots of battles happening all over the place here. There's Marcus Steyn is trying to get himself back into this race, but it is a 60-minute race, so there's still lots and lots to come. So, Tyler, I've actually been given a very, very fun fact by Cans here, and I'm not sure whether I should actually be announcing it, so I will see whether she will allow me to. But I saw a little bit of contact between Michael and Tyler Scott.
I will give you permission to say it.
So thank you very much. Fun fact, everybody, Tyler's name is actually Tyler Joe. Now we know. So Ruan Heineke getting himself up a position, getting himself ahead of Marcus Steyn. Let's just have a look at the position deltas of where the guys have moved. So you can see Charles Wilkin down 1. Chris Heineke up 2 places.
I have received some information from Dwayne, and he says he had a lag spike. His screen froze.
Oh, that is definitely not what you want at the start of a race.
Definitely not, as we can see.
Very sorry to hear that, Dwayne. Lucky to have you have joined us. But we'll see you at Monza. So currently out in front is Chris Honecker, followed very closely by Charles Wilkin, and a second behind him is Fliffensell in third place. But it looks like Neil and Paul Fenter are using each other just to get further up the order, to start closing down on the man who's currently out in front. And seeing some pit stops starting to happen fast and furiously at the moment.
Marcus staying in the pits.
So I think that might not be a bad move there. I'm seeing something happening here. Looked like there might have been some contact, and that was with Tyler and Adrian Bond. Adrian now dropping down a couple of places.
And from my knowledge, I believe Terry Wolford started 21st. He is now in 11th.
Well, that is absolutely great recovery. We know Terry's put in a lot of work in that AMG over the last couple of days. So good to see him moving up the order. 10 places. You can see that on the little icon there. So
good work, Terry. Nice. Len is under pressure from Gary van der Haar.
So the one that got my attention was just Paul Fenter having a look at the back of Neil Greening, but able to get away. But yes. Ooh.
Oh, contact at the back, Len Neri and Gary van der Haar. I think Len lost it. I wasn't quite paying attention.
Well, with the beauty about this is that we are able to go back and have a look. So
Lovely
here's
stuff.
the replay. Len running out. Looks like that rear was getting a little bit loose, and yeah, unfortunately just... Oh, very unfortunate. That rear just letting go off the curb and just making contact. So unfortunate there for Len. And taking some collateral damage with him. So currently Chris Honecker out in front, 1:45.2. He is currently the fastest man on track. He has taken the fastest lap there, and you can see that that first sector is purple currently. And we're at that stage now where we just about past that first 10 minutes and where the guys can now start settling. But I say settling, but Paul is putting lots and lots of pressure on the back of Neil at the moment. The thing about the Hungary ring, it is extremely difficult to overtake. You've almost got to force your opponent into making a mistake, unless you can get a great run out of the last corner and set yourself up for an overtake into T1.
T1 is definitely the preferred and main overtaking opportunity. Very heavy braking zone. Car 88 off the road. Who is that? That is
Raphael. So we can just go have a quick look and see what happened to Raphael.
That was a very nice livery.
Oh, just way too quick. And manages to keep it off the wall. Very nicely done there, Ruff.
Rowan Heinecker putting a lot of pressure on the back of Wayne Bond for P number 9. P9.
P number 9. Nice. So we will jump to that now. Currently it is Paul Fenter who is the closest to make a move. And as I look at that timing board, I see, yes, Rowan Heinecker is catching the back of the BMW man. Another person who's making a comeback is Lenieri, closing up onto the back of Thomas. Unfortunately, that Ferrari looking a little bit damaged, and we saw just losing that rear on the curb. And I must say, this pressure here from Paul Fence is absolutely relentless. I've not seen that gap be more than 0.4 of a second. And as I say that, it goes to 0.7. Sorry.
He's still there though.
There's another little interesting battle that's going to start pursuing, and this is Memo up against Terry. And Memo really challenging hard. It's very, very sneaky little move on the inside there. I don't think Terry saw him coming. And Terry's going to have Michael Struvik right behind him. No! Oh. And that is the end of that. Memo just getting that that Lamborghini. Ew.
Oh.
And that is not a nice place to be, because that was a blind corner. But Memo, unfortunately, getting that a little bit wrong. Getting the power on and that rear just stepping out. And we have only got 15 minutes, 10 minutes have passed, so still 15 minutes left of this race. Looking the only person that...
Big snap.
Big snap?
No, it's all good.
Ooh. Marcus Stain having a little dive there into the middle. And on my telemetry, I'm seeing that Marcus Stain has pitted, but it's not showing that that Marcus has pitted here on the live feed. Lola, we can't agree with you more, saying Lamborghini, ouch.
Big ouchie.
So a little battle now between Michael and Terry Wolford. So Michael looking for an opportunity to get his Lamborghini Evo around the older of the two vehicles. But it does look like Michael is possibly going the quicker here of the two.
Paul's still putting a lot of pressure on the back of Neil Greening.
Yeah, that gap 0.3. And what I must say I'm quite impressed with, because even though Neil's got all that pressure, he's still 1.2 seconds ahead of Flip van Zyl, currently in second place. So while this pace is relentless up front, he's still fighting for a podium opportunity here.
Indeed.
And just behind that battle is this little battle between a Paul Fenter and a Fleming Bauer. So it looks like the little logistical nightmares are having their own little logistical nightmares, but in little battles of two.
I think that is Fleming Bauer against Vermeulen, not Paul.
I mean, yes, because Paul's fighting with Neil.
Yeah. Well, Paul has actually got in front of Neil.
Oh, there you go. You're 100% correct, and now we've missed it.
No. Replay.
So Neil's gone into the pits. I wonder whether that is a strategic move there. And Charles Wilkin currently the fastest man on the track. And he's putting some pressure, starting to close down onto the back of Chris Heineke. You can see now within a second. Two purple sectors there, that last lap for Charles. 144.69 is his quickest time versus Chris Heineke's at a 144.9. So 0.3 of a second is the difference there between these two. And Michael has just made that move on Terry Wilfred. So it looks like Michael got tucked up right behind him and setting up for turn number 1. Made his move quite early, made his intentions clear, and Michael taking the position quite easily in the end there.
Nice move from Michael, setting it up out of the last corner, run down to turn 1, and just send it down the inside.
And that's the thing, when your opponent sees you coming, it does make it very difficult to defend, and just stick it up on the inside, and there's nothing there you're able to do.
There is a 3-way battle for P12 to P14, Gary, Tyler and Adrian, all fighting it out.
And Adrian is closing up on the back of Tyler Scott. 0.4 of a second now is that gap. As they come through turn number 12. Ooh, Adrian's a little bit wide there, and we saw that stunning move there from Memo, just sneaking up on the inside. And that gap was the smallest of gaps, yet he was able to fit that car through there.
If you no longer go for a gap, you're no longer a racing driver, or whatever Senna said.
Something like that. Well, let that be your homework to come back to us next week and get the actual quote. But Ruan Heineke in 9th position. You see he's moved up 2 places. Tyler Scott and Adrian Bond, is that coming together? It looks like it is. So out of the last corner, they come down the main straight into T1. It looks like it's a late move. No!
Oh. Just very late on the brakes.
It looked like Adrian completely just missed that.
Ooh, Thomas hit the barrier coming out of the last turn. Carbon copy of Memo.
I want to see what's happening here in the race for first place, because while Scholl was closing up on the back of Chris Heineke, he is still within that 1 second. And Paul Fenter still in fourth place, trying to close down the man in a 3rd position. I was a bit confused there and realized that it's actually Memble that's got himself stuck between the battles up front here.
Tyler Scott has a drive-through penalty. I'm guessing that is for track limits.
And just an example of that was Memble there going into turn 3. You can see how wide he went there. But there we go. Oh, Chris is very wide out of turn number 6. Oh, looks like that car was going to over-rotate there for Scholl. I just got myself a little bit excited there. Just going through the field and looking for some more battles, and it looks like that Fleming has just lost some way there with Jacques Vermeulen. Jacques being able to get ahead of Fleming, and Jacques now on the way to try and catch his teammate Paul Fenter. Actually wanted to just check, where is this man? Mr. Marcus Stein. So 1:45.0 for him.
It's a pretty solid lap. I think he is on the charge, trying to recover those positions after his lap 1 contact with Dwayne van Skalkweg.
And it looks like the lap counter is not working on our side, but I do have record of who's pitted, so we can actually just take it off, because it looks like it's hasn't calibrated correctly. So just so that we all are aligned, Neil Greening, he has done a pit. He's currently in 3rd place. Memo's done a pit. Tyler's done a pit, as well as Marcus Steyn. None of the guys from 12th position upwards have made a pit stop just yet.
Just correction, Neil Greening's in 13th, not 3rd.
What did I say? 3rd?
Yeah,
Apologies. Okay, well there we go. There's Neil Greening, confirmation, in 13th place. And that is saying that he has dropped down 9 positions from where he qualified this evening.
Obviously going for the undercut. That is when you pit before your rivals to hopefully overtake them while they're in the pits. I guess that's one way to say it.
Yep, I'm aligned with that. So Ruan Haneke out of turn number 12, now into turn 13. Close, I was going to say closing up, but he seems to be a little bit stuck there between himself and Wayne Bond. But these two now fighting for 8th and 9th position. Adrian, Bond and Roberts now. The battle starting to heat up, and just ahead there, or I say ahead, just behind there, that is Marcus Steyn. So these guys are going to be fighting for position, but understanding that Marcus has already done a pit stop. And it's definitely one of those interesting things where you're coming up to these guys, you know that you're quicker, you know that you've got a pit, yet they still fight for the position. Or Tyler, do you reckon that they'll realize that it's not their fight to fight? But now we're going to have a 3 wide into turn 1, and if not, why not? But here comes Marcus Steyn on the inside. He should be able to make this move stick, and easily going through. And just about a 4-wheel slide. Did Marcus go a little bit too deep? Yes, he did. He outbraked himself. So he will still remain in 15th place, ahead of Robert Stoltz. But now is going to have to fight his way past Adrian Bond in the green Orion Shopfitters BMW.
Wayne Bond has lost it in front of Ron Heineke. I'm not too sure what happened there.
There's only one way to find out, because we were within time.
Was that a touch? I don't think it was, because I was watching and the little triangle thing came up next to Wayne's name. And not the ones.
And if there was contact, correct, it would have been, it was very interesting.
We got Gary van der Haar closing down on the back of Terry Wolford in the 21 AMG.
So Gary in the Aston Martin, the only Aston Martin here this evening. And Gary, you can see that 8 positions up from where he qualified, going against Terry, who is 10 positions up from where we qualified. Or Terry a little bit too deep into turn 1, which is they're going to allow Gary to close right up behind him. Cameraman got a little bit confused there with the crossing to the helicopter view. And I must say, this battle out front has been absolutely relentless. We're just about halfway, well, 7 minutes ago, but for the last 23 minutes, Charles Wilkin has been chasing down Chris Haneke.
This is the closest he's been.
And if you look at that delta, it is coming down. Is he going to have a look onto turn number 1? Just not close enough. He's going to have to pull out of that move now. And that Chris looked a little bit squirrely as he got onto the power. It could possibly have been something to do with the curb on the exit. But here we go. Terry and Gary side by side through turn number 13. But this is where Gary must just be a little bit patient. Just make sure he gets that exit hooked up. And we know how quick that asset is. In a straight line, there's a BMW on the inside of the wall there. I think that is Thomas. Yes, that is. Terry able to hang on to this position for one more lap. Whoa! Did you see that big slide there for Terry taking that inside curb?
Whoa,
this one. AMG is getting very, very loose now. So a comment there from Adrian saying Terry's getting quick and quicker every race. It's really great to see. Adrian, can't agree with you more. But now this battle between Terry and Gary has brought Neil Greening into play now. So a little three-way horse on its way. And what I've realized is Marcus Steyn has really been struggling to get himself around Adrian Bond there, and finally has been able to do it.
I've been watching them for a while, and Adrian was not going to give that place up without a fight.
So I'm pretty sure that that would have cost Marcus in the long run there. But Gary van der Haar now into the pits, possibly realizing that he might be losing time here, being stuck up behind Terry. Wilford and Fleming Bauer, they getting much closer now. And Paul Venter, he's got himself within a second of the man in third place, Flip van Zyl. I must say, seems he's had a quiet race. When I say quiet race, there hasn't really been too much pressure around him in third. But now the Porsche just about within that 1 second of that podium.
Just as we're saying that, Tyler Scott has had a spin in the middle sector. Or, yeah, middle sector. Nothing too hectic. I think there's big damage on that Ferrari. He's struggling to get it round.
And something's also happened with Ruan. See that he was a little bit slow, as well as Memo.
Oh, that was close. Great save.
Big moment of snap there. And now as the leaders start coming through the pack, this is where it starts getting a little bit anxious, that you want the back markers to just get out the way.
Terry and Neil having a great battle coming towards the end of the lap now.
Looks like Neil was trying to chuck it up on the inside. Whoa.
Oh, he's now pitting.
That was
and he's already pit. He has to go through again.
That is correct. On my clock, I already got Neil as pitting, and I think that was quite an aggressive move, trying to go up on the inside there.
Ooh, Memo in the wall. Yeah, I think that's his race over. That was a big shunt.
See Memo just getting up on that curb. The car just unbalanced and unfortunately smacking it into the wall. So there we go, Scholt having another look on the main straight. And this is the question now, is which one of these two pulls the trigger first and goes into the pits. We are approaching the halfway mark. So just checking the UPS, we're halfway. So we're all looking good. See Jacques Vermeulen now into the pits.
Paul Venter closing up onto the back of Flip Van Sail. Slowly but surely getting there.
Because that gap was 1 second, now into 0.8. So that is a little white flag there for Jacques Vermeulen as he comes out of the pits. But Paul Venter all over the back now of Flip Van Sail. The one thing I've noticed about this track is that the camera angles are just so tight that you don't really get more than the two cars in the shot.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a better one.
The bull's in the way.
Yeah. Whoa.
Might I add that both these liveries look absolutely amazing on these cars.
Quite like that little. What it reminds me of is the old Hot Wheels color changes where you.
Oh yes. Put them in water and they change
put
color.
It in water, 100%. And it always went from orange to pink or pink to orange. So these two having an almighty battle now. Paul Venter within half a second of Flip Van Sail.
Ron Henneke drive through.
Drive through penalty.
Yep, drive through penalty is serving it now. It's unfortunate.
So Wolford Robson is right on the back of Fleming. And if we look at these two cars, I couldn't tell you which one was which. Fortunately, we have the telemetry to tell us. But Wolford within 1 second, Paul Venter within half a second. So to the guys that are on the stream, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, just remember that this series is brought to you by Orion Shopfitters. This time, the details are in the description below, so you can go and check them out for your home, office, or custom. Oh, Paul deciding to pull the trigger now for the pits. Possibly trying the undercut between himself and Flip Van Sail. That's going to be interesting to see where and when Flip Van Sail is going to pit.
I would go the next lap.
Adrian Bond in the pits now as well. I just saw Memel was slow. It looks like he is coming back. So Gareth asking if there's any rain coming. It's very dark around the track. Well, Gareth, there shouldn't be rain. It is dark, it is overcast, but no rain expected. But I can tell you, for the race in Monza, the clouds are definitely building up. We've got somebody. Oh no!
No!
So that was an uncharacteristic mistake there by Chris Heineke, and that's now put him into second place.
with third place right behind him.
See if we can get... Oh, we just caught the end of that. You can see he turned in. It just looked like the rear wasn't hooked up. And that was a good awareness there. I think that was Gary van der Haar who saw... Sure, that could have ended a lot worse than what it did.
Very lucky to get away with that without any damage.
So this now releases Charles Wilkin out in front by nearly 8 seconds. And what it has done is put Flip van Zyl right on the back of Chris Heineke.
Alice Scott having a almighty battle with Len. Swapping places all the time.
Len just getting out of the way there for Paul Fenter.
That Ferrari is battered.
But now what he needs to do is try and follow Paul through and get a little jump on Zyl as he goes into turn 1.
Indeed, tuck behind Paul, follow him through.
But now with Paul now being stuck behind some back markers, the question is that impacting on the position of where he comes out between himself and Flip van Zyl?
Well, I guess we'll find out when Flip hits.
So Wayne in the pits as well as Wilfred. It's going to be a crazy dash on the way out there. Let's just see. So Charles, Chris, Flip and Fleming Bauer. So the first 4 places still need to pit. Michael Struvic in 6th still needs to pit. And then we've got Paul Fenter, who's currently the highest placed driver that has pitted at this point.
There goes Flip. He is pitting.
So the question is, where is Paul Fenter? So into turn 12 goes Paul. He'll now head into turn number 13. Flip still in the pits.
Flip hasn't even stopped yet. I think Paul might get past him.
But that was his pit box is right at the end. So there, Paul now out of the last corner. Where is Flip van Zyl? He hasn't moved yet. And there goes Paul Fenter. So it looks like that little battle has been concluded. Is that Paul has jumped Flip van Zyl in the pits. And here comes Jacques Vermeulen and is just behind Flip van Zyl. But that was an absolutely incredible pit stop there for Paul Fenter, getting himself ahead of Flip van Zyl. And quite a comfortable gap. He's got between himself and Flip 7 seconds.
Marcus on the back and Neil Greening. Oh, Terry.
No, Terry into the wall. And that looks like it's on the exit of the last corner.
But on the wrong side of the wall. We normally see guys going towards the inside. Let's see what happened.
So it looks like it just starts washing out. It just over-rotated. He tried to grab it.
Oh, Terry.
And that, unfortunately, is going to be the end of his great performance. So Jacques in the Porsche is putting pressure now on the back of Flip van Zyl in the Ferrari. And what I realize that happens is every time I go into the replay and I come back, it brings up all the comments that were within that little section. So I did address Gareth's question there. So Paul Fenter has now got himself ahead of Fleming Bauer, with Fleming being in the pits. The Fleming's coming out, and that's he's got himself ahead of Flip van Zyl and Jacques Vermeulen. So that was a great pit stop there for Fleming as well. And it does bring into question what Flip's strategy was, because he's now lost 2 places in the pits.
I'm wondering if maybe back markers had anything to do with that. Because it's quite a gap. Paul managed to get on Flip. It's about the main straight worth of gap.
So there's a man currently in 6th place who started in 7th. You can see in 6th, so up 1 for the race. And this is the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th place with 21 minutes left to go. So into turn number 12. And Paul is really using a lot of that curb on the exit there. Going to look at the last laps. So 45.1 for Flip van Zyl, 45.5 for Jacques. Now 45.6 for Flip, 45.7 for Jacques. So these two just about matching each other in terms of their their lap times, pit times. But I can tell you pit times. Jacques was 3 seconds slower than Flip. How is it possible? Yet he was able to get it. Because in terms of the pits, they're all varying from between 28 to 30 seconds, and that's from pit entry.
I definitely think Flip was slowed down by some back markers. Terry has repaired his damage and he is back onto the racing circuit.
That is good to see. And there we go. So this battle between Len and Robert. Well, Len running a little bit wide, that allows Robert in 15th place to move himself up the order again. So it looks like Paul's now starting to close up. Flip van Zyl is starting to close up on the back of Fleming, and just giving himself a little bit of breathing space between himself and Jacques Vermeulen in 6th place. So it just looks like Flip has now got himself back into his rhythm and starting to pull away from the Porsche behind him. So I think the race next week is going to be very, very interesting. And the reason being is it is a 75-minute race, so we're going slightly longer. No practice this time, and it is a 15-minute session, but the guys only get 2 tire sets. And then there is no mandatory pit stop, so that's about fuel saving, tire conservation, and whether you can make it to the end without pitting or not. So that's going to be quite an interesting one to watch for next week.
Do we know what the weather is going to be?
Yes, we do. It is cloudy, it is raining.
That's going to be very interesting. Rain on a low downforce circuit.
I was about to say, that didn't quite look right. So let's see, Michael into turn 1. Oh, just caught the curb on the inside.
Is that the barrier? No.
So very fortunate enough. But
Whoa, went round again.
he went round again. So we saw
Michael, donuts are for after the race.
only at Circuit of the Americas.
Fair enough.
So the race leader is Charles Wilkin in the 200 Lamborghini Evo. Chris Haneke in second place. We saw him lose it through the little chicane, turn number 6. The car just over rotated, got a little bit loose. In third place is Paul Fento. A great strategy there for him in the pits, getting himself ahead of Flip van Zyl. Fleming is in fourth place with Flip van Zyl in fifth. It looks like just losing a little bit of touch there is Jacques Vermeulen in sixth place. Marcus Steyn, great to see him. He's moved up that order, so he is currently in seventh place. And that is 11 seconds behind this battle happening at 4th, 5th and 6th place. Then it is Neil Greening in 8th. Wilfred Robson in 9th place. Wayne Bond in 10th. Wayne Bond at 2 places up from where he qualified. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. Ruan Haneke, 11th started 11th, is currently 11th with Michael Struwek up into 12th place currently. Gary van der Haar, 7 places is his gain. He's in 13th place. Adrian Bond up 2 in 14th. Robert Stoltz, he finds himself in 15th place. That is 2 from his qualifying. Terry Walford, 16th place there for him. You can still see having a gain of 5 positions. Leneri in 17th, up 1 from where he qualified. Agamemnon Veronis down 5, 18th position there for him. We saw that he's just been having a little bit of battles with that rear in this Lamborghini. Tyler Scott, 19th place, down 4 from where he qualified. Thomas Pistorius in the pits. He started in 20th, currently 2 places up. And then we've got Dwayne van Schalkwyk. We heard that a little bit of a lag moment there for him, and fortunately plying through turn number 2. But here we go. Paul. Why do I keep saying Paul?
Coconuts.
I didn't say anything. I just said, why did I keep saying Paul? I said no coconuts whatsoever. But Jacques Vermeulen, as Flip van Zyl runs wide through turn 11.
Memo in the pits again.
I must say, I just love the way this Porsche is looking. So when Paul... See, I did it again. Like, why? I'm looking at his name. It says Jacques Vermeulen. Why am I saying Paul? When Jacques pushes the brakes, and you can just see how that suspension is working, that nose dips, the car twists, and then you can just see that rear hooking up. I absolutely love it. You'll see what I mean now. Watch. On the brakes, the car's going to have a little squirrel, and as he turns in, it just hooks itself up, and that inside wheel wants to lift. I love it. Absolutely love it.
I love the way the Porsche looks going around the racetrack. It looks fast. Marcus staying up to 7th after his lap 1 incident with Dwayne van Schalkwyk.
But this is where it's hot and happening. I thought he was going to have a little look there. He got a great run out there and just not able to. I honestly thought Jacques was going to have a go there.
Our P2 man Chris Haneke is in the pits.
Has he not pitted? No. Yes,
No.
he hasn't. He hasn't pitted. So, okay, so this is the first pit. So I'm thinking, whoa. And Charles Wilkin, he too out in front hasn't pitted either.
Indeed.
Okay, let's get back to this battle between Paul Venter. I'm joking. Jacques Vermeulen and Flip van Zyl. So for those, Paul Venter is currently in 3rd place, just so that everybody's keeping track and not listening to the mumbo jumbo that's coming out of my mouth. So that's Chris Heineke's pit done and dusted, and that's Paul Venter. Yes, so Paul Venter's still got an opportunity here for possibly a 2nd spot on the podium.
I'm wondering if Shaw goes a little bit longer, will Chris and Paul be on the back of him? Because the undercut seems to be working pretty well around here.
Well, you see, so that's saying 43 seconds, the longest time from a pit stop. Let's see, that was Robert Stoltz with a 30.8 seconds, so he'll still have about 10 seconds spare. But what I'm loving about this little battle here between a Fleming, a Flip, and Jacques is that Jacques will catch Flip, then all of a sudden there's that 1 second gap, and there is Flip on the back of Fleming. So they definitely are trading places here all the time.
Surprising, seeing as it's so hard to overtake around this track. Or should I change what I said there? It's not surprising.
Not surprised. Oh, there's a little Audi board in the middle of the track there. Now we're talking about Audi. There aren't any Audis racing here this evening. And remember, the Audis were one of the ones to be driving, and now it's long forgotten, like the Honda.
Ah, R.I.P. Honda. I loved that thing, man, and they took it away from me.
So a great shot of the Hungaroring main straight into turn 1. You can see now turn number 2, and this corner is constantly falling away from you. And you can see that you want to take quite a late apex there. And the little black lines, that's a little bit wide, but not too sure what the track limits there on that exit are.
Track limits everywhere are, to my knowledge, the white and red curves.
Oh no!
Oh, Adrian. Oh.
Is that a...
It looked like a disconnect for a second.
Yeah, I thought it was, but maybe it was missed the brake pedal.
That was very interesting.
So just wanted to look at the lap times now between Chris and Paul Venter, because that last lap of a 2:17 was Chris's pitted lap. So 1:45.6 for him, Paul Venter 1:45.4. So Paul still going to be pushing hard with less than 8 minutes left to go.
The one-man show has still not pitted.
Well, the thing is, there isn't a... Well, I say there isn't a pit window, but there actually is, because the pit window opens halfway through the first lap and then closes near the end. So that's half...
There we go.
There we go. We called it. Okay, so I want to see when this actually starts counting down as he crosses the line. So as he crosses the line, that's when the timer starts. So The average time that is from entering the pit to exiting the pit is about 30 seconds. Scholl had approximately a 43-second gap, so he should come out ahead, give or take one or 2 seconds just to get back up to speed. So I'd say about a gap of 11 seconds.
I think you will be right.
So that was a 28.5 second stop there. What did I say? 11 seconds. Look at that. 10.6 seconds. My math is good. And I still cannot believe that these three are still stuck in this battle. It's almost as if they, when you played good old-fashioned Need for Speed with the bungee cord effect. And as you think that you're going to get away, it just pulls the other ones. So Lola, fortunately this is a family show. And where did I say push? I mean push! I mean... Oh man. So it's time. It's delirious time now, guys. 5 minutes left of this race. It has been absolutely cracker, and good to see that the inverter's been holding up here. We're halfway on the inverter load, so that is great news. So tense, I'll say 10 and a half seconds, but it wasn't 9. It was actually 9 out of 5. 10 seconds is the gap between Chris Honecker in second place. Paul Fenter is in third. He's 2 seconds behind Chris. So he is starting to close up. Then this battle in the middle between 4th, 5th, 6th, that is between Fleming, Flip and Jacques Vermeulen. These guys have stayed strong there. Marcus Steyn in 7th with Neil in 8th, Wilfred 9th, Wayne 10th, Ruan Honecker 11th, Michael in 12th, Gary 14, Gary 13, Adrian 14, Robert 15, Terry 16, Len 17, Agamemnon 18, Tyler Scott 19. And then looks like that's a retirement there for Thomas, because he is currently still in the pits. So Alala saying I must not choke on my little comment there, but 3.5 minutes left to go. A big thank you to everybody that has joined us for this evening. Just remember, after this race we will be getting the top 3 in just to have a little chat. We are ahead of schedule because we just moved our start time just at 15 minutes earlier, so that we are able to chat to the guys in the end. Ronaldo van der Roy approves of this. Lekker Ronaldo, always lekker to have you come and join us. And I've had many races against Ronaldo. Man oh man, we need to get you onto some PC World here, Ronaldo. Kom gooi hem. So, is there going to be a final change near the end of this race? Jacques Vermeulen half a second behind Flip van Sale. And I see Paul Fenter has taken off half a second between himself and Chris Honecker. But then what happens is, it looks like, I think I'm understanding what it is. It all depends on where they are on the track. And that through the twisty, tight, hairpiny stuff, that's where the Porsche is quick. To the faster flowing, where you got to carry the speed, that's where the Ferrari seems to have the little advantage. So Paul, 1.2 seconds, nearly 1.3 seconds behind Chris Haneke, so he is closing up rapidly there, and it might be one late last lunge for that position. And Ronaldo say, working on it, can't wait to join again. Yes, man, Ronaldo, that's what we want to hear. We got that confirmation now. This is Charles Wilkin on the final lap. This is Wilfred contact.
I think with Memo.
Let's just go over see what happened there. Oh. So we would have had to go back a little bit further. Just looked like a little bit of a tangling up there between some of the cars. But is back on his way and still in a 9th position.
Alright, man, the leader is on the final lap. Give it a final push.
What? Why did it repeat that message? That's so weird. But I wanted to jump here because it is Jacques Vermeulen pushing as hard as he can to try and get himself around Flip van Zyl. Yes, both running very, very wide there, as they come through turn number 5. They're going to head through a 6 and 7 through this little chicane piece. And Jacques got a great drive through there. You can just see carrying a lot more speed on the exit there than Flip was able to. I am just watching Charles currently coming through turn number 13. Jacques very wide, and Flip staying in the middle of the track, making it very difficult for Jacques to make a move. So that is a confirmation there. Charles comes home in first place. Chris Haneke around in a second. He will hang on to that with Paul Venter in third. Fleming in a fourth, but it is the battle here between a 5th and 6th place. Jacques Vermeulen trying everything, trying to get as wide as possible, but will across the line in a 5th place for Flip van Zyl, a 6th for Jacques Vermeulen. Marcus Steyn, a great recovery there for him, a 7th position for him. Atara, can you just drop Charles, Chris and Paul a message please, just to join us in the chat? Will they just let them join in the holding lobby and we'll pull them across? We then have, did I get Neil? Yes, Neil Greening finished in 8th place with Wilfred in a 9th, followed very, very closely there. Wayne Bond in 10th, and right behind him he has got Ruan Heineke. There is Terry in the middle of those two. Michael Struvic will come home in a 12th place, with Gary van der Haar in 13th. Adrian Bond finishes 14th. Robert Stoltz 15th. Terry 16th. Len 17th place there for him. Tyler Scott on the side of the track. Okay, that is turn 1, so he has been classified. 19th place is Memo, and Thomas in the pits, not done as well as Dwayne van Schalkwyk. So crazy racing, very, very tight out in front. Little mistake there by Chris Heineke, which then allowed Charles Wilkin to go through and take that win. We're just waiting for the drivers to join us in the lobby. We see Paul the Wall Fenter has joined us. Just waiting for Charles and Chris Heineke, and then we can get our interviews underway.
Cool. Seems like everybody's here.
That is correct. So guys, while we just switch over, just remember this series is probably brought to you by Orion Shopfitters. Go check out the details. They are in the description both on Facebook and on YouTube. Big thank you to Schick for supplying us with some of the products we'll be giving away at the end of the season, as well as MSR, who are the supporters of our streaming equipment that we have, and then NAG for hooking us up with those practice servers. But let's jump straight over into the driver interviews. We'll start off with you, Paul. A very interesting result there for you. You were chasing down Flip and Sale. It looked like he decided to go into the pits. You went in the lap before him, yet you came out 7 seconds ahead of him.
Yeah, not really sure what happened there. I don't know if he maybe took more fuel or something, but my stock was on its marks, up, down, and out. So that was good. And then, man, I think we had 5 more minutes. I might have been able to put up to Chris there at the end. I'm quite happy with that. First time in the Porsche. Literally, first few laps was this afternoon when I got home. So you know what? Take that as a W. Trying something different to what we've been running. So yeah, it was some good fun, and yeah, man, I could not get to Chris there. So yeah, man, it was good fun.
No, absolutely fantastic. I'm pretty sure that, like you said, first time in the Porsche and a third place, take it as a win and bank the points and move on to Monza.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go to you, Chris. Man, oh man. The amount of pressure that Charles was applying for the first just about 30 minutes of that race. Fortunately, going into turn number 6 and that rear just let go, hitting that curb. Do you want to just let us know what was it that let go there? Was it the curb, or was it just something that just caught you by surprise?
No, an awesome racing there by Charles there. And he definitely put the pressure on me there that first half an hour. So, I mean, I had to drive the wheel nuts off this car. But, yeah, the thing is, I just took a bit too much curb on the left-hand side, on the approach.
Yeah.
And when I went off, just got a slight bump and it upset the balance of the car. And there I go. So, that's the only mistake I needed to make to give Charles the chance to pull a gap and go run away with it. So, yeah, congrats to Charles. I mean, he was quick. So, yeah, awesome. And then, yeah, it was a nice, great race. I'm happy.
And there was definitely a little bit of a hairy moment there, seeing Gary van der Haar coming through in that Aston, and you stuck on the second phase of that chicane. And I must say, I did hold my breath there.
Yeah, no, I kept an eye on him, so I knew, look, if he's going to go, there is some room, at least there is some room. So yeah. If I could just turn it on the spot and stay there, then at least he can go left or right. So, no, it's a calculated gamble, I suppose, huh? But it worked out. So.
No, 100%. A great result there for you, Chris. And then, Charles, another win for you. So that's a 2 currently in the season. And Chris had said, just keep that pressure and hopefully wait for that mistake. Was there a place that you were hoping that you could actually make that move? I did see turn number 1. There was 1 or 2 little areas, like having a little look. Would that have been the place you have had to have had a go?
Hi, Dylan. Yeah, it was a tough race, Chris drove well, and that Porsche is so quick out of the turns that you can't get close enough. And so there wasn't really any place that I could make a move, and I just tried to keep the pressure on, and hopefully Chris would make a mistake, which he didn't do, and eventually it came. So, but well done to him. It was a good race.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And we did see, just in terms of turn number 2, there was a little bit of a wild card, and it was actually Dwayne that said that he had a little bit of a glitch in the system, and where he was on the brakes, the car was still traveling, so it did cause a little bit of an issue there. But look, at the end of the day, sometimes these things do happen, and a great race. And the reason I mentioned that because Chris, obviously Marcus was sent packing there, but your teammate did manage to recover and get back up into 7th place. So a great result there for him.
Yeah, and he did well to come back there. I mean, points is points. But yeah, a bit disappointing. I mean, he was actually faster than me as well.
Sure.
In practice and all of that. So he had a good chance of winning this race. So yeah, I don't know what happened. I mean, at the start, turn 1, I went to the inside of. I had a great start from the line there. And then I went to the right of Wilk and he covered me. And then I went to the middle of the track. And then both of them basically braked earlier than what I expected. So I just shot in deep. Then I knew, okay, if I can make it stick and go deep, I will get the left hand in turn 2, which worked out. So, but yeah, just a bit disappointing there for Marcus's side. Bad luck, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, guys, we head to Monza, where once again we changed the format, and that is the 75 minutes, no pit stop required. Different strategy, definitely going to come into play. So really looking forward to that, and I believe that the weather gods have spoken to some of our admin team and saying that rain is imminent. So really looking forward to that, guys.
I'm glad you are.
Yeah, no, we'll see how this Porsche goes in the rain, huh?
Right, guys.
Watch.
Right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Really a great racing there this evening. To everybody once again who joined us on the stream, thanks so much. It's always great having our viewers joining us. To Tyler in the commentary box and on camera, thank you so much. It's always great to have somebody in my head while I'm talking, other than just myself. And to our sponsors, Orion Shopfitters, guys, thank you very much for your contribution. Always happy to have the people supporting SARCO and essentially allowing us to give back to the drivers. To Schick and the hampers that will be given out, as well as to MSR for the streaming equipment that we have got going, as well as NAG for those practice servers. We'll definitely look into the one. We're getting a little bit of feedback to say that it just didn't feel right, but we'll definitely look into that. Tyler, I don't know if there's anything from your side before we wrap it up.
I just want to say thank you everyone at home for watching. Thanks for the comments, and yeah, thanks for watching.
Guys, we'll see you next week, Thursday, Monza, raining. And until then, guys, keep racing, keep practicing, and